in the education system that this government created. I'm now 20. I was in probably first or second grade when the bills came in 2002. I've taken students to see their MLAs. I've emailed trustees to advocate on behalf of students. I've seen students talk about their schools that weren't being seismically upgraded or the delay till 2030. I've seen students advocate for their bands and their music programs because their band programs are above 60 students and the rooms are more than at capacity. Having done the advocacy work that's been suggested tonight, emailing trustees, being in contact with the ministry, being in contact with MLAs, having done this work in Vancouver, sitting on a citizen advisory committee to city council, and not seeing any results, and graduating out of the system, and now as a member of the public who can vote at the age of 20, what would your advice be, and this is a question to the entire panel, what would your advice be for students who are advocating for the services that they think that they need that they're not getting?
The media is really friendly. Honestly, if you're not getting anywhere through the proper channels that are supposed to affect change for you as a citizen, the best avenue is to shine a light on it. And I know in Surrey, we certainly wouldn't get anywhere if it hadn't been for the media picking up our story and picking up about our little red signs saying where will your kids go to school.
But I do think that it's a shame that we have to do that. You know, I
don't.
I would prefer not to know as much detail about our education system than I do. I would rather be home with my family. But this is important, and you have to fight. And I echo your concern, though, that, like, you know, you had your list of people you can advocate to, and you go through those channels, and you hit a brick wall. Like, we at the Parent Advocacy Network have requested meetings with Minister Bernier several times and have not even received a response. And so at a certain point, you really do feel that they're treating you almost as an opponent or an enemy. And that makes it very difficult to take things in good faith when they do come. So I think I would hope that we reach a point where where advocacy isn't just seen as opposition, where we have a point where you know, we have a good point that equitable education is important, and how can we do it better? What can we do differently to get that meeting with the minister?
Mm-hmm. Do the other panels want?
No, that's kind of the question, because it does echo, his question echoes some of the things we'd already said, is we're doing all of those advocacy things through all the channels we have, yet parents/citizens, we're not being heard by the government. So either they don't have any generous listening for us, or we need to find a better, different way to be heard.
I do a fair bit of work with nonprofits about how to get their message through to government, and I start by outlining the challenge, the central challenge, which is governments have a lot of things on their agenda, and sometimes the noise from those other things tends to drown out the message which you're trying to get through to them about education funding. I just alluded to it in my presentation, but I mean, I could spend an hour talking about it, which is the extraordinary pressure which a shifting demographic is going to bring on you as a younger generation particularly. I mean, 15 years from now, I and 30% or 25 to 30% of the population will be somewhere between 65 and 105 years of age. We will be the largest voting bloc. Hopefully we'll have grandchildren in school that will be concerned about public education, but there's going to be lots of noise from the health sector that may drown out the education message, because as people get older, they're subject to more chronic illness. They need knees and hips replaced. There's a whole range of challenges which require quite expensive solutions, and when 30% of the population is in that demographic, there's inevitably going to be greater pressure. So I think the point about media was was a really good one. I won't dwell on it because I agree with it. Media is one of the ways in. I think that you find all of the places where you can intersect with the political process. Go to speak to the Standing Committee on Finance that does an annual round. You've already done that probably, and will continue to. Yeah.
We've all presented.
Yeah, like you may not feel that it's generating any benefit for you, and lots of times it won't generate benefit. One of the things I tell others is that governments will only act under certain context and circumstances. That context and circumstances are enormously. Sometimes governments are more receptive to messages about poverty, about education, about health than they are at other occasions. So you got to be persistent. You got to be passionate. You know, keep driving your message to anyone who will hear it. And you know, that's the only route to success. And that success may not be immediate. It may take years to penetrate, but you got to keep the message in there, because again, to me, as the kind of left-wing liberal that I am, I want to see us reduce poverty. I want to see a different society where kids who are born in difficult economic and social circumstances have a shot at being successful in their education and in their lives, and education's the key to that. So, and I get the passion that you're bringing here, and that's the best advice I think I can provide around how to get there.